So you've brought us a pretty fascinating topic for this deep dive. It's these stages of awakening consciousness, and it's something that a lot of spiritual traditions have explored. But for our guide today, we're going to be using the work of a teacher named Marcelo Martorelli. And he kind of breaks this whole journey down into 7 distinct stages, almost like a life cycle of awareness.
Yeah, what's really interesting about the way Martorelli approaches this is that he compares these stages to human development.
Oh.
Like from infancy all the way to elderhood.
Right.
So it gives you this familiar framework for understanding what can be a really complex process.
I like that. It makes it feel a little bit more relatable.
Yeah.
So where does this whole journey begin? What does it look like to be in the, like the infancy of awakening consciousness?
Well, imagine like you're just starting to become aware of all the systems around you.
Okay.
The political landscape, the economic structures, the religious doctrines. You're sensing their impact on your life. Maybe questioning them for the first time.
It's like that classic red pill moment, right?
It's like
realizing there's a matrix, but not quite knowing how to navigate it yet.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, the stage can be filled with a lot of frustration, even anger.
Sure.
You're seeing the limitations, the control, but you might not have the tools or the awareness yet to break free.
So you're awake to the existence of the matrix,
Right.
but you haven't figured out how to unplug.
Exactly.
So what happens next? How do we move from infancy to childhood on this path?
Well, think about a child who's just learned something amazing and they can't wait to share it with everybody.
Okay.
That's kind of the energy of this stage.
Okay.
You've identified the systems, and now you're driven to wake others up to them.
So it's all about like activism and spreading awareness.
It can be, absolutely.
Okay.
You might find yourself like passionately sharing information, joining movements, engaging in protests.
Right.
The focus is still very external, though. It's about fighting against something rather than creating a new way.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like you're pushing back against the system, trying to shake people out of their complacency.
Right.
But at some point, that outward focus has to shift.
Exactly. That's where the adolescent stage comes in.
Good.
And this is where the journey starts to turn inward. You're beginning to explore personal growth techniques, maybe experimenting with different spiritual practices.
So it's less about changing the world, more about changing yourself.
In a way, yes.
Okay.
But here's the catch. You're still seeking external validation.
Okay.
You might find yourself clinging to gurus or chasing the latest spiritual trends.
It's like trying on different spiritual outfits to see what fits,
Yeah.
but not quite finding your own unique style yet.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It's a necessary phase, though.
Yeah.
Where you're experimenting, you're testing the waters, you're building self-awareness. And this sets the stage for a much deeper transformation in the next stage youth.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
What makes youth so pivotal in this whole journey of awakening?
This is where you connect with your soul, with its unique purpose.
Yeah.
You're no longer driven by rebellion or the need to fix the world.
Right.
Instead, you're guided by this deep desire to serve humanity,
Okay.
to contribute something meaningful to the collective.
Wow, that sounds really powerful.
It is.
It's like that aha moment when you
Yeah.
realize you're here to do something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. Personal transformation becomes a priority, not as a means to an end,
Right.
but as an expression of your soul's unfolding. You start to see your life as this journey of purpose, this path of service.
I can imagine that shift in perspective being incredibly liberating.
It is.
You're not just reacting to the world anymore.
Right.
You're actively creating your reality from a place of purpose.
It's a profound turning point.
Yeah.
And as you step more fully into this alignment with your soul, you enter the stage of maturity.
Okay.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Tell me more about what happens in maturity.
Okay.
What new dimensions of awareness open up at this stage?
Think about those moments when you've experienced a meaningful coincidence.
Okay.
A synchronicity that felt like a signpost on your path.
Hmm.
In maturity, these synchronicities become more frequent, more profound.
Okay.
You're starting to recognize the language of the universe, the subtle ways in which a deeper intelligence is orchestrating your experiences.
So it's not just like woo-woo stuff.
No.
There's a real intelligence behind these synchronicities.
Absolutely. It's about attuning to a deeper level of awareness,
Okay.
a cosmic guidance system that's always operating, whether we're conscious of it or not.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It makes me think of those times when I've followed my intuition
Right.
and ended up in the right place at the right time.
Exactly. In maturity, you're learning to trust that flow. that intuitive nudge that guides you toward your highest good and the fulfillment of your soul's purpose.
This is making me rethink my entire life.
I know, right?
But what happens after maturity? Do we just keep getting more and more in tune with this cosmic intelligence?
Well, according to Martorelli, there are 2 levels of elderhood that await us. Brothers and masters.
2 levels.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. Let's dive into those after a quick break.
Sounds good. Welcome back. So before the break, we were just about to kind of explore this fascinating realm of elderhood.
Yeah.
Which Martorelli divides into 2 distinct levels, brothers and masters.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this. It sounds like we're moving into like the realm of the wise sages and spiritual masters. Like what sets these levels apart?
Well, let's start with the brothers.
Okay.
These individuals are living in near constant contact with their soul's wisdom.
Okay.
They've integrated all the lessons from the previous stages, and they're now emanating this certain knowingness, this quiet strength that comes from deep inner alignment.
I can picture them like those unassuming people who radiate a sense of peace and wisdom without needing to shout it from the rooftops.
Right. You know, they've walked the path, and their presence alone kind of illuminates the way for others.
Exactly. They're not seeking recognition or trying to build a following. They're simply being an embodiment of what's possible. Subtly guiding humanity's evolution through their actions and their very being.
It's like they become like living examples of awakened consciousness. So what about the masters then? Where do they fit into this picture?
Well, the masters represent the pinnacle of awakening.
Okay.
They've transcended the limitations of the ego and operate from a place of pure unity consciousness.
Wow.
Imagine being free from the constraints of time and space, working behind the scenes to guide humanity's destiny.
Wow, that sounds almost mythical.
Right.
Do we ever get to see them in action?
Perhaps not in the way we might expect. They exist beyond our normal perception, embodying the highest potential of human consciousness.
Okay.
Their influence is subtle yet profound. Think of them as the architects of our collective evolution, working on a level that's beyond our current comprehension. Okay, my mind is officially blown.
I know, right?
We've journeyed from waking up to the Matrix to becoming masters of the universe.
That's right.
But Martorelli also talks about planet Earth's unique role in all of this.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
He
yeah.
describes Earth as a cosmic spiritual school due to the incredible diversity encoded in our DNA.
So we're not just like some random planet spinning in space. We're actually a hotbed for spiritual evolution.
That seems to be the case. This diversity, which we often see as a source of conflict, actually creates the perfect conditions for accelerated spiritual growth.
Okay.
We're constantly challenged to expand our understanding, embrace different perspectives, and find unity in our diversity.
That's a really beautiful way to reframe our differences.
It is.
It makes me wonder if all the extraterrestrial civilizations that people talk about, are fascinated by humanity. Precisely because of this diversity.
Right. Yeah.
Because of this incredible potential we hold for spiritual evolution.
It's a fascinating thought. Maybe our journey of awakening with all its complexities and challenges is something that the universe is watching with great interest.
Okay.
But there's one more key aspect of Martorelli's teachings that we haven't touched on yet. His call for unity.
Right. He talks about a one-world government, but not in the way we usually hear it.
Right.
Like, what's his perspective on this?
Well, Martorelli cautions against fearing a one-world government, arguing that the true solution lies in uniting humanity under a shared vision of well-being and declaring planetary independence from the current systems of control.
So instead of worrying about a dystopian future of global domination, he's pointing toward like a utopian vision of unity and liberation.
Exactly. He suggests that our fear of a one-world government is actually playing into the hands of those who seek to control us. What if embracing global unity, not fearing it, is the key to unlocking our collective liberation?
That's a radical shift in perspective.
It is.
It makes me think of all the ways we're already interconnected,
Yeah.
despite our perceived differences.
Yeah.
We share the same planet, we breathe the same air, we face the same global challenges.
Precisely, and perhaps it's through recognizing and embracing this interconnectedness that we can transcend the limitations of our current systems and create a world that truly works for everyone.
Okay.
A world where collaboration and compassion replace competition and conflict.
I love this vision, but I also feel the weight of its enormity.
Yeah,
It's such a massive shift from where we are now.
it is.
Where do we even begin?
That's where the individual journey of awakening comes into play.
Okay.
Remember, as more and more people move through these stages, the collective consciousness shifts.
Okay.
It's like we're each adding our unique light to this growing beacon of awareness.
So it's not about waiting for some grand revolution or a sudden shift in consciousness.
Okay.
It's about each of us doing our part,
Right.
wherever we are on our own journey of awakening.
Absolutely. Whether we're just starting to glimpse the matrix or we're already embodying the wisdom of the masters, we each have a role to play in this unfolding story of humanity.
Okay. It's about living our truth, sharing our gifts, and inspiring others to do the same.
Oh, okay. I'm starting to feel like a glimmer of hope amidst all this complexity. It's not about fixing the old, it's about creating something entirely new.
Exactly.
But how do we bridge the gap between personal transformation and real-world impact? How do we actually create this new world?
That's a great question, and one we'll explore further after a short break.
So we were just talking about, how to kind of translate these big ideas of awakening consciousness into real-world action.
Right.
Like, it's easy to get caught up in the concepts.
Yeah.
But how do we actually bridge that gap between personal transformation and creating a more unified, harmonious world?
Well, it's about recognizing that these stages of awakening aren't just about personal growth.
Okay.
They're about our evolving relationship with the world around us.
Okay.
As we move through these stages, our understanding of our role in the collectives shifts.
So in the beginning, we might be focused on fighting against the system or trying to wake others up.
But as we mature, our approach becomes more nuanced, more aligned with our soul's purpose,
Exactly.
and more focused on creating something new.
It's like we're graduating from reactive activism to conscious creation.
Okay.
Instead of just opposing what we don't want, we're actively building what we do want. And that creative impulse can manifest in countless ways depending on our unique gifts, our passions, where we are on our own journey.
So it's not about everyone doing the same thing. It's about each of us finding our unique contribution to the collective good.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It could be anything from raising awareness about social justice issues to developing sustainable technologies to simply being a kind and compassionate presence in your community.
Okay.
Every act of awareness, every expression of love, every step towards a more sustainable way of life contributes to the collective awakening.
That's so empowering.
Yeah.
It means we all have the potential to make a difference regardless of our background, our resources, our social status.
Right.
We don't have to wait for permission or for someone else to lead the way. We can start right where we are with what we have.
And the beauty of this interconnected reality is that even seemingly small acts can have a ripple effect.
Right.
Think of the butterfly effect.
Okay.
How a tiny flap of a butterfly's wings can ultimately influence weather patterns on the other side of the globe.
Wow.
Our actions, no matter how small, can have far-reaching consequences.
Okay.
Imagine what happens when those actions are aligned with love, compassion, and a desire to serve the greater good.
That's a powerful image.
It is.
It makes me think about all the times I've felt discouraged, like my efforts weren't making a difference.
Right.
But if we're all interconnected, then every act of kindness, every effort to live more consciously, every attempt to create something beautiful and meaningful is contributing to the shift we want to see in the world.
And as more and more individuals awaken to their true nature and align their actions with their soul's purpose, that collective impact becomes even more powerful.
Okay.
It's like we're weaving a tapestry of consciousness, each thread contributing to the beauty and integrity of the whole.
You know, throughout this deep dive, we've explored a lot of complex ideas and challenging concepts. But I'm walking away with a sense of hope and possibility.
That's good.
Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the challenges we face in the world today, I'm feeling inspired to focus on my own growth, my own contributions, and to trust that I'm part of a larger movement towards a more conscious and harmonious future.
And that trust is key.
Yeah.
It's not about blind faith. It's about recognizing that we're not alone in this journey.
Right.
There's a deeper intelligence at work, guiding us, supporting us, and connecting us to each other in ways we may not always fully comprehend. We're all part of something much bigger than ourselves, and our individual journeys are intricately woven into the grand tapestry of life.
It's like we're all part of a cosmic orchestra, each playing our unique instrument, contributing to a symphony that's still being composed.
Beautifully put. And as we become more attuned to the music, to the rhythms of the universe, we naturally find our place in the grand symphony of life.
This has been an incredible journey, and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Thank you for guiding us through this exploration of awakening consciousness.
You're welcome.
I know I'm going to be contemplating these ideas for a long time to come.
It's been my pleasure, and remember, the journey doesn't end here. It's a lifelong exploration, a continuous unfolding of our consciousness. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and keep shining your unique light.
To all of you listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. May your journey of awakening be filled with joy, discovery, and a deep sense of purpose.